On the other side, the Turkish tribes are also not simple. Some of them love Osman, dream and trust Orhan, but some of them look at him and ask the same question again and again. Is he can he lead men older than him? Can he take decisions without shaking? Can he carry the name of Kai without falling under its weight? These questions are not spoken only by enemies, they also alive inside the heart of people who stand near him. This is why the latest direction of the series feel important. Kurulus Orhan is not only about a prince becoming a ruler, it is about a making man walking into a storm that was waiting for him before he even reached the center of power. The land is not peaceful. Bursa is still a dream. Standing behind wall, Iznik is still a key that can open many future doors. The roads are dangerous, the markets are full of spices, and every message can carry ether, truth or poisons. The people want safety, but safety has a price. Soldiers was victory, but victory asks for sacrifice. Mother wants their sons to return, but history does not return every son. In the middle of this, Orhan must become more than brave. Brave man can win a battle, but out only patient man cast in a state. When we look at Orhan, when we see leader who is different from Osman but still connected to him. Osman will like a mountain storm. When he moved, he land felt it. His anger could shake enemies and his mercury could heal friends. Orhan has a different energy. He looks glamour on the outside, but inside him there is a steep fire that does not always show every thought. He listens, he watches, he lets speak people, and sometimes this makes them think he is soft. But silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is a wall, sometimes is a trap. For the people who persons are in your plan, there is styles of leadership is what make history fresh. The viewers already know the world of tribes, routes, councils, caste and betrayal. They have seen brave ops warrior ride into battle. They have seen family pain, places, games and faith in hard time. But Orhan's journey adds a new question. What happens after the dream is born? What happens when the state is no longer only an idea in Osman's heart but a living thing that needs laws, cities, order, trade, justice and wisdom? Orhan cannot rule only with the sword, he must rule with the mind. He must understand that a castle is not taken only when its gate falls. A city is truly taken when its open stop. Fearing tomorrow, the latest atmosphere of the species point toward this bigger struggle. Bursa is not city on a map. It is a symbol. It is the prize that has been waiting for years. It is the place that can everyone that Osman's Malik is no longer small. If Bursa comes under Orhan control, the world will look at him in a new way. Some will respect him, some will hate him more, some will kneel only to rise later with betrayal. Bursa is like a locked chest. Inside it is power, wealth, honor and road, the greatest future. But every lock just has a graduation and every graduation has allies. That is why the road of Bursa cannot be straight. It must pass through traps, broken promises, secret alliance and painful losses. At the start of this section, imagine Orhan standing outside the camp. Before sunrise, the wind moves through the tent, the horses are quiet. But the men are not sleeping deeply. War has a smell, it's in the air before the first arrow is fired. Orhan looks toward the direction of Bursa. He cannot see the city clearly in the dark, but he knows it is there. He has seen its wall before. He knows how men have died near those stones. He knows how many prayers have been made from victory. But tonight he is not thinking only for victory. He is thinking of responsibility. A young warrior dreams of entering a city with his sword raised. A ruler thinks of what happened the morning after, who will feed the people, who will protect the street, who will stop revenge from becoming injustice, who will make sure that conquest does not become choice. These are questions that make Orhan different. Behind him, the map is full of alive. Even in silence, a mother whispers a prayer of the sons. A blacksmith checks the edge of a lathe. A wounded ape sits near a small fire and says nothing because pain has become normal to him. A messenger waits with dust on his cloth, afraid to bring bad news but more afraid to hide it. Somewhere inside the main tent, the elders are speaking in low voices. Some of them still speak of Osman first and Horan second. This is natural, but it also dangerous. A leader who is always compared to his father must fight two wars. One war is against the enemy outside, the other is against the memory inside his own people. Orhan knows this. He does not hate it, he respects his father too much to be angry about it. But he also knows that he cannot spend his whole life standing behind Osman's name. One day he must stand in front of it. This is the emotional heart of the sections. Orhan is not running away from this father legacy. He is trying to grow inside it without being crushed by it. For a normal man, the name of Osman would be a blessing. For Orhan, it is also a test. Every decision he makes will be measured. If he shows mercury, some will say Osman would have been harder. If he shows strength, some will say he is trying too much to look like Osman. If he wears, some will call him slow. If he attacks, some will call him reckless. This is the long lines of leadership. A ruler can sit in a tent full of people and still be alone because the final decisions belong to him. In the moment, Nilufar Horn become very important to the emotional side of the story. He is not only a wife standing beside a leader, she is a woman who understands two words. Her past, her hearts, her fear, and her loyalty all make her positions difficult. She knows the language of palace walls and the language of the cradle, and she can feel the danger that comes Orhan comes from the outside. When Orhan speaks of war, she hears the sound of window before the battle even begins. When he speaks of cities, she thinks of children who will wake up under a new flag. Can underestimate wonder alive, it becomes better or worse. Her strength is not always shown with a sword. Sometimes her strength is seeing what warriors do not see. A good scene between Orhan and Nilufar can carry the soul of this section. Orhan enters the tent after a long council. His face is tired, but he tries to hide it. Nilufar sees it at once. She does not ask simple questions like, "Are you tired?" because she already knows the answer. Instead, she asks what is truly heavy on its heart. Orhan first said that nothing is heavy. Then he looks at the lamp burning between them and admits that everything is heavy. He says the land is waiting for him to become curtain, but curtainly is not easy when every rose has blood on its. Nilufar tells him that a ruler does not need to see the whole road to take the first step. The only need he know why he is walking. Orhan answered that he walked for the dream of his father, for the safety of his people, and for the justice Allah on the earth. Nilufar then says they do not fear the weight. A man who carries only his pride is crushed by power. A man who carries justice is carried by prayers. The kind of dialogue gives the audience a softer but deeper side of the story. The battle becomes scenes are powerful, but the quiet scenes explain why the battles matter. Without these moments, war becomes only rise. With men, every sword strike carries meaning. The viewers do not only want to know who wins, they want to know what victory costs. They want to feel the pain behind the decisions. They want to see that Orhan is not a stone. He is a man with love, fear, duty, and faith. He may be at bay by become a man of a sultan, but before all the he is human. That humanity make the rise more powerful. Outside the family circle, the political side grows darker. A new enemy does not always arrive with a large army. Sometimes he arrives with gifts, sometimes he needs a letter, sometimes he is small at a council and calls himself a friend of peace. In this part of the story, the Byzantine side should not be shown only as a simple enemy with sword. Their real struggle is in delayed defeats and secret deals. They know that Orhan power grows when the tribes stand together, so they try to break trust between the tribe. They send gold to one bay, promises to another, and fear to the rest. The whisper that Orhan is young, they whisper that Osman time has ended. They whisper that the Kai will use other tribe and they push them aside. These whispers are more dangerous than arrows because an arrow kills one man, but a whisper can person a wall camp. On the strongest part of the sections can be a council scene. The bay gather inside a large tent. The air is a hot, even though the night is cold. Everyone has something to say. One bay wants immediate attack, and other says the horses are tired and the food line are weak. A third complain that his men are dying, while others speak of honor from a safe place. Orhan listened without cutting them off. This makes some men respect him, but it makes one proud bay think he can control the room. That bay stands and says that Osman will not wait his long. The tent becomes silent. Everyone look at Orhan. This is a trap. Not with a knife but with words. If Orhan becomes angry, he will look weak. If he says nothing, he will look afraid. Orhan slowly stands and says, "My father did not build this state so that we could throw men into death just to protect our pride." Osman Bey thought his courage, but he also thought us patient, the man who remembered only his sword and forgotten half of him. The room changed. The proud Bey cannot answer easily. Orhan has not attacked his father's memory. He has protected and claimed his own place inside it. This scene should be written in a way that shows Orhan's mind. He is not trying to win an argument. He is trying to keep the unity of the camp. He knows that his bay break apart before Bursa, then Bursa has already won without opening its gate. He tells that the next move must be sharp. Not loud scout will watch the road. Spies will enter the markets. Trust men will follow the secret messages. The food route to the city will be studied. The loyalty of nearby villages will be tested. He will not break his army against dawn while the enemy laugh from above. He will first make the enemy blind, hungry, and afraid, then the sword will speak. At the same time, a hidden story can move in the background. A spy from inside the Byzantine side carries news that a secret meeting will take place outside the city. A commander from Bursa is trying to bring support of another castle. If the support reaches the city, the side will become longer and more painful. Orhan decided not to send a large force. Instead, he sent a small group of trusted ops under the cover of night. This choice shows his style. He does not waste strength, he uses it carefully. The mission is dangerous because if the ops are caught, the enemy will learn that Orhan eyes are inside their plan. But if mission succeeds, the enemy confidence will crack. The mind mission can give action without becoming repetitive. The ops ride through forest pathways from every branch look like a hand reaching for them. They do not shout. They do not raise flag. They move like shadows. One of the younger ops is nervous. His horses feel it and becomes restless. The older ops beside him whisper that fear is not shame. Shame is letting from hold the reins. They reach a narrow valley where the secret meeting is supposed to happen. At first they see nothing, then a small light appears between the trees. Men arise speaking in low voices. They carry skilled prepare and a chest. The ops wait. The goal is not to kill everyone. The goal is to know who is working with whom. This makes the scenes more intelligent. The audience feels intention because action is waiting, but patience is the real weapon. Then something goes wrong. A dry branch breaks under one horse. A guard runs and arrows flies. The under silence is broken. The ops thrust forward, swords flash under moonlight. The chest falls open and inside are coins marked from payment. One messenger tries to burn the papers, but an ops tackles him before the fire spreads. Another enemy escapes into the darkness. The ops with the small fight, but the escape can create a new danger. Now the enemy may know the Orhan has discovered part of the plan. The missions give Orhan valuable information, but it also starts a race against time. When the paper reach Orhan, he reads them carefully. The written proof that someone near the Turkish side has been received gold. It does not name the traitors clearly, but it gives a sign, a symbol used in messages. Orhan's face become cold. Betrayal from outside and unexpected, but betrayal from inside cut deeper. The easy path would be to accuse the proud babe who changed in the council. Many viewers may suspect him, but Orhan does not move without proof. He says that anger is exactly what the enemy wants. If he accuses the wrong man, United will break. If he waits too long, the traitors will strike. She must walk in the line. This is the kind of leadership test that keeps the story strong. The next morning, Orhan acts from nothing has changed. He should hold another meeting. He speaks calmly. He gives order from the supplies line. He sacks sand to do a curtain village, but secretly he gives different informations to different people. One group heard that an arms caravans will move from the east, and other hearts it will move from the north. A third hears that Orhan will visit a curtain village as sunset. They are not real plans, they are bait. Only want to see which false plan reach the enemy. This is a smart and exciting direction because it turns the story into a game of mind. The audience watch each character and wonders who will carry the poisons. While the political trap is forming, the family side must be forgotten. Mulhan Horn carries the memory of the old says. He has seen wars, lose pride and victory. She knows the cost of his dream from the beginning. In the scenes, she does not need to speak many words. Her eyes can carry years. When he watches Orhan give orders, she sees the children he once was and a ruler the must become. This creates pain and pride at the same time. A mother wants her son to be safe, but the mother of a leader knows safety is not the path. She may tell him, your father gave you a name, but you must give them that name, its proof. This is not pressure without love, it is love with trust. Fatma Hond can also boring emotional energy into the sections. She represents courage, family honor, and the pain of being used by enemies who think women are weak point in the tribe. In many historical drama, women are sometimes who show only as victim or only as a symbol of patient. But in a stronger rewrite, Fatma should have her own mind. She can see when something is wrong in the camp. She wears a servant repeat of perhaps that was also found in the secret message. She does not understand the whole matter but the remember it. Instead of the running into danger, foolishly the quietly tells Nilufar. This allows the moment side of the story of become part of the main plot of not separate from it. Nilufar listen and understand that the symbol is that message may cannot be sometimes working inside the women areas of the camp. This is dangerous because men often guard gates and roads but they may not watch the smaller movement inside and kitchen healing spaces as strongest eras. A spy who moves through those places can hear more than a soldiers on a tower. Nilufar begins to watch without making noise. She asks normal questions. She visits the wounded. She checks the food stories. But behind her calm face, this gives her agency and makes the story riches. One powerful scene can show Nilufar finding a small pieces of cloth hidden under a water jar. On it is the same marks from the messages but not complete. It has been cut in half. She understands that the other half may be with the person who receive others before she tells Orhan someone entered the tent. It is a woman who has always seemed loyal. She smiles and asks the Nilufar in search among nothing old things. Nilufar hides the cloth in her sleeves and answers the calm words. The woman leaves, but now Nilufar knows she is being watched too. The danger has entered the heart of the camp. This kind of scene is useful because it shows the Bursa walls are not the only walls Orhan must breaks. They are invisible walls around truth inside his own camp. Truth is covered by loyalty, fear, old anger, and secret greed. Orhan enemies understand that is they cannot defeat him in open battle, but they can man him doubt in his own people. Doubt is a slow poison. It does not kill at once. It makes a leader look at every face and wonder what hides behind the eyes. If Orhan becomes too suspicious, will people feel insulted? If he becomes too trusting, the traitors will win again. The story gives him a difficult middle path. The sections should also show the common people. A scribe series about state and a leader becomes stronger when the viewers remember who the set is for. Near the camp, there is a small village living between fear and hope. The villagers have been armies passes before. They do not care from big sword is the children are hungry. Some fear Byzantine revenge. Some fear that the Turks and lakes their food. Some just want the fighting to end. Orhan visits the village not with a large show of power but a small group. He speaks to an old man whose son was taken by soldiers from the city. He listened to a mother whose wheat was burned during a raid. He ordered payment from supplies instead of taking them by force. This matter is sure that Orhan justice is not only for speeches inside the tent. It reached the week during the visit. A child looked at Orhan's sword and asked if sword make man great. Orhan knees and says no, a sword only shows what is already inside a man. If there cruelty inside him, the sword becomes cruelty. If there are just inside him, the sword becomes protection. These simple lines work well from easy English and gives moral depth. It tells the audience what kind of ruler Orhan want to be. If slow, if also separate him from enemies who sees power also as control. But pieces never last long in the world while Orhan in the village. An arrow is fired from roof lot. It does not hit Orhan, it hits one of the guard. Panic spread, women scream, the Arabs rush to protect him. Orhan does not run blindly. He looks at the arrows, sees the feathers and understands that is not from the village. Someone want him to punish the villagers, someone want to him look cruel if they react with anger. If he loses the trust of the people, this is another trap. Orhan is ordered the gates closed but tells his men not to arm any villagers. He says the attacks want them to become unjust. They will not give the victory. The surge begins. The attack moves through back valley. One young Arabs follow too quickly and near fall into another trap. Orhan stops him and points to a rope hidden near a doorway. The enemy has prepared more than one escape path. Finally, the attacker is covered near old mill. He refuses to speak and tries to slow poison, but the Arabs stop him. On him a mark burned into the skin, the same symbol connected to the secret message. Now Orhan has proved that the hidden network is real, but the attacker still does not reveal who pays him. He only says, "Your camp is already opened. Your fire is already inside." Then the loud, not because he is winning, but because he has planted fear. Orhan returned to camp with the presence with that does not show him to everyone at once. He knows public fear can spread faster truth. Instead, he gently gathered only the closest people. Nilufar bring the closest. She found the Mark's watch. Fatma shares the stranger. She heard the spices come together. The traitors may not be a bay at all. It may be someone loyal, someone one respect enough to fear. This is clever twist because may people look only at powerful faces while the real danger walk under their eyes. In the prison tent, Orhan questions the attackers. He does not return him in longer. He speaks the control. He says that a man who will sell him salt from gold is already poor, no matter how much he is paid. The attacker says that Orhan speaks like a ruler, but ruler die like other men. Orhan answers, yes, every man dies. This is why that the builds before death matters. These lines connect to the theme of legacy. Osman is against in a memory of the story. Orhan is rising and everyone is standing between death and what remains after it. The attackers finally give one clue, not because he fears pain, but because Orhan offers his something unexpected. Orhan says his family will not be punished if they are innocent. The man is shaken. He expected threat, not justice. He says the next messages will be spent before dawn through the old well near the edge of camp. Then there becomes silence. Orhan does not know if this is trust or another trap, but he must act. Before dawn, the camp sleeps under false peace. Orhan places hidden watches near the old well. Nilufar stays awake in her tent, know the danger may come from the woman's side. Fatma keeps a small danger under her shawl. The apes hide behind cars and shadow. The wind moves slowly, then a figure comes covered in a dark cloak. The figure reaches into the wall stone and pulls to a small tube. The watches move, but the figure turns a chest beings through the camp. The clocks wall and everyone is shocked because the presence is not a warrior or a bey. It is a young servant who carried water before tent for months. When they catch him, he carries and says he did not know the full pain. His brother is held prisoner in Bursa. The enemy force him to carry messages. This change the feeling. The traitor is guilty but also trapped by love and fear. Orhan man must decide what just means. Shares some apes demand death because betrayal can destroy everyone. Nilufar look at the servant and sees a broken human being. Molan says Mercury without wisdom can invite more betrayal, but punishment without understanding can turn him pain into rebellion. Orhan listens. He ordered the servant held, not killed. He says that the real enemy he is the hand that used the fear. They will find the hand. These decisions will now pleases everyone. The proud bay from the council speak again. He says Orhan is showing softness. He says our traitors must die quickly to others learn fear. Orhan answered that fear can control bodies but justice control here. He says if his servant he killed at once, the betrayal enemy stays hidden. If used wisely, they can send message back and the trap. The show Orhan him again. He does not choose Mercury because he is weakened. He chooses controlled Mercury because it can become strategy. Now the story moves toward a large turning point. Others Orhan write a false messages and sees it through the same secret path. The messages say that the camp is divided, that the proud bay is ready to leave, and that Orhan will move a small force toward a weak road at night. The goal is pull the hidden enemy out by the Byzantine commanders believes this he will and send soldiers to strike Orhan's supposed weak point, but Orhan will be waiting. This plan is risk because if the enemy sends the tricks, Orhan on troop may turn against him while preparations begin. Orhan presence should be felt even if he not is every scene. A powerful movement can show Orhan visiting Osman or remembering hide words. Osman may be older, wounded, or away from the center of action, but the spirits remain the foundation. Orhan sit near him and from of movement. He is not the commander of men. He is a son. He asks how a man knows when Mercury is right and when it become danger. Osman tells him that Mercury is not closing your eyes. Mercury is seeing clearly and still choosing justice over anger. He says that a ruler who cannot punish is weak, but a ruler who enjoys punishment is wise. Orhan listened like a man drinking water after a long drop. These words strengthened him from the decisions ahead. This father-son feeling is very important because the servants is a bridge. Weavers who loved Osman need to feel that the story is not thrown away. It continues through Orhan but not as a copy. Orhan does not need to become Osman again. He needs to become the answer to what Osman built. If the simple word Osman opened the door, Orhan will must walk through it and build the horse. The battle trap take place at night. Orhan allows the false rumors to spread. A small group of these men moves openly, making it look like the messages were true. Hidden behind hills, the real phase where the enemy commanders arrives with confidence. He believes Turkish pride has broken into divisions. He divisions Orhan is too young and too merciful. He believes the servant messages this overconfidence in his weakness, and his soldiers enter the narrow ground. Orhan gives the signal. Turkish rises on both sides. Arrows fall. The enemies realize too late that the hunter has become the haunted. The flight should be strong but or not endless. The force should be an Orhan control. He does not rush to the center only for glory. He watches the field, gives order and sends sports where needed. When one side begin to send, he moves there with the sword and lift his man courage when an enemy tries to escape with important prepare. He sent a fast riser after when the proud Bey fights bravely and near dies. Orhan save him. This is important because leadership is not personal revenge. The Bey questions him, but Orhan will protect him because every loyal word matters. In the middle of the battle, Orhan faces the enemy commanders. The commander mocks him and says, "Marks the tricks because he fears real war." Orhan answers that only a foolish man thinks the mind is not part of war. They fight. The commander is strong, experienced, and energy. Orhan is younger but faster and calmer. The duel should show contrasts. The commander attacks like a man who wants to crush. Orhan moves like a man who wants to end the threat. Finally, Orhan wounds him and brings him down. He does not kill him immediately. He asks who stands behind the secret network. The commanders laugh and says Bursa has more doors that Orhan can't count. Then he tries to final move with a hidden blade. Orhan stops him and finishes the fight. The victory is real, but the answer is incomplete. After the battle, the Arabs cheer. The proud Bey, wounded and ashamed, comes before Orhan. He accepts coldness instead. Orhan tells him that his courage in battles was seen. The Bey lowers his head and admits that the judge too easily. Orhan does not humiliate him. He says the state needs men who speak truth, but truth does not be mixed with pride. This movement helped heal the council's division. It also shows that Orhan can opponent into supporters, which is one of the marks of a great ruler. When the capture prepared are openly, the reveal that Bursa is preparing a larger pain. The city is not only waiting behind walls, it is trying to bring outside. Supporters still tribe division and strike Orhan family. It's needed One line is the prepare mention is Nick, which means the danger is wider expected. This is a strong ending. Directions from section 1 because it opened the door from section 2. Bursa is the because it visible goal, but Islik may become the hidden. The enemy network is larger, and the war is not only military; it is political, emotional, and spiritual. Back in the camp, the servant who carried messages is brought before Orhan. The Arabs expected a final punishment. The servant falls to knees and begins not for himself but for the brother. Orhan says him betrayal cannot be urged, but this trust helps save many lives. He will not go free, but he will not be killed without purpose. Orhan ordered then an attempt be made a learn where the brother is held. If the brother is innocent, he will be rescued. Is Allah allows the servant carries not because he has escaped punishment, but because he has seen a kind of justice he did not expect. The scenes can thought the audience because it shows that Orhan is building loyalty through fairness. Nilufar watched this from a distance. Later, she tells Orhan that some men will say he must too soft. Orhan said that maybe right is their own eyes. Then he says, but I do not want a state where people obey only because they fear the rope. I want a state where the innocent sleep without fear and the guilty for justice. Nilufar smiles softly because she says the rulers grow inside him. She also knows path will turn him. A just ruler suffers more than a cruel one because he feels the weight of each decision. The sections can slow down after the action. The moving after battle is quiet. The head are bared, the wounded are treated. Victory does not remove grief. If only grief are reasons, Orhan walk among the grave. He knows each grave is part of the road of the Bursa. He hears the name of the man died in the night. He asks that their families be cared for. This is not a small detail. It shows that the state is not built only by famous men. It built by men whose name history man forgot but whose blood were the roots. At one's grave a young boy stands beside his mother. His father died in the battle. The boy tried not to because she thinks warriors should be heard. Orhan heals and him tears from a good fear and not weakness. He says the father he did not try for Orhan pride. He did not they had one children should grow without running from every army. The boy asks if the well truly come. Orhan looks toward Bursa and says it will become. Do not stop. These lines close the emotional circle. The dream is not abstract. It is for children, families, villages, and the future. In the final part of section 1, Orhan returned to the hill from the opening. The same audience of Bursa lies before him, but now the viewers feel that something has changed. At the start he carries questions, now he carried proof. He had faced decisions hidden by a village trap, a night battle, and moral decisions. He has not solved everything. In fact, the danger has grown, but the show the shape of the leadership. He is patient but not passive, merciful but not blind, brave has not reckless, loyal to Osman legacy but not trapped inside it. This is the Orhan the story need. Messengers arrive with new informations. Mock sees near one of the road to sneak and other skill messages has been, but this one carries a different mark. The network may more than one master takes the messages and look at the long movement around him. The camp begin to wake. Men prepare horses, women light fires, children carry water, life contains under the shadow of war. Orhan understands that is only the first layer of the test. Bursa waits, sneak watch the enemy plans. The tribe judge the family hopes, and her history stands silent, ready to write the name of the man who does not turn back. The floors the messages and places it near the hearse. Then he says the closest ups when half broken up one traps, but the roads ahead it full of them. Do not think the enemy he picks, because he want tonight a wounded snake bites harder. From this day every road will be washed, every stranger will be questioned, and every hungry family will be fed before the enemies buys their pain. He will not win this land only by taking walls. He will win the taking away the reasons people sell themselves to our enemies. This lies becomes the main messages of section 1. Orhan understands something deeper than many warriors. A stage is not safe only because it has strong soldier. It is safe when people before justice live under its banner. Its hunger, fear, and loneliness and ignored enemy will use them. If people are protected, if enemy loses him easiest weapon. This is mature idea that carried a whole clueless Orhan story forward. The camera can image Orhan mountaining his horse and the sun rises. The light torches the edge of the sword, but it also touches the faces of ordinary people in the camp. This is important because the sword and the people must be seen together. Without the people, the sword has purpose. Without the sword, the people may have no protection. Orhan rises slowly through the camp, not a prince looking of praise, but as a leader studying the weight of every face. Man stand straight when his face passes. Women look at him with hope and worry. Children straight if they are watching the future right way. At the end of the camp, the proud of Bay joined him. He is wounded but riding. He says the want to come on the next mission. Orhan looks at him and come to prove himself or to serve state. The Bay is silent for a moment. Then he says, yesterday I would have said both. Then I say only the state. Orhan nods. This is a small but meaningful change. The leader is not only defeating enemies, he is reshaping the heart of his own people. Nilufar watched from the tent. Mulhan stands beside her. Fatima is there too, stronger after the danger she had uncovered. The movement does not need to wave or cry loudly. The silence presents should the roots behind Orhan. A leader rides forward, but he held up by those who believe in him, warm him, challenges him, and pray from him. Mulhan says quietly that the road has chosen him now. Nilufar answers that the choose the road long ago, but today the road answer. As Orhan reached the hill, he returned one last time toward the camp, then he looked toward Bursa. The city is still far, but not unreachable. The walls that once seemed like the end of the world now seems like the beginning of a greater chapter. Orhan raises his hand and the writers move. Dust rises behind him. The music of the story would grow here, not with empty excitement but with the feeling that history and started walking faster. This is where the section 1 should end, not to full victory but the strong moment. The audience should feel the Orhan has passed the first hurdle. This is a part of story. He has not become a complete ruler yet because that would be too easily and the too easy early. But he has shown the heart of one. He has learned that enemy can wear many faces. He has learned that mercy can be used as strategy when guided by wisdom. He has learned that his father's legacy is not a chain around his neck but a rod under the feet. Most importantly, then he has learned that the conquest of Bursa will not be only by breaking stone, will be won by building trust strong enough that no enemy can break if he is right. The final image is simple. Orhan ride toward the next danger, and behind the camp begin a new day. The graves are fresh, the wounds are open, the threats are many, but the dream is alive. Osman flame has now gone out, it has entered Orhan's hand. Now the world will gather, the flame can light a state up burn in the storm. The road of hidden doors, the rides left the camp with the still young. The sun has all started to come and its light touches the land like a promise that was not yet complete. Orhan rode at the front, but he did not ride like a man cursing glory. He rode like a man listening to the ground beneath the horse's feet. Every road has a story, every broken branch, every silent bird, every empty field could speak to a careful leader. The night battle has given the victory, but it had not given him rest. A small trap has been broken at the larger net will still hidden. Bursa wanted him one direction, Iznik was from another, and someone before those stronger wall enemies were sending messages that could burn tribes without once war being lifted. Orhan understood that a young ruler could make two dangerous mistakes after winning a battle. The first mistake with prize bride tells a man that victory came because he is always right. He makes him stop listening. It makes him believe that enemies are smaller than they are. The second mistake was him fear tells a man that danger is everyone, so he must trust on one. It turns friend that into suspect and counsels into presence. Orhan wanted Nithar's pride won, not fear. He wanted clear eyes. He wanted a heart that remembered Allah, a mind that respected danger, and a hand that moved only when the time was right. The men behind him were quiet, some were tired, some from night fight, but they do not complain. Among the people brought the Bey who had challenged Orhan is the consul. His name was Savik Bey, a man with a strong arms and restless, tough. He had lost blood in the castle, and the bandage on his shoulders was dark at the edge still. He sat straight one horse. Yesterday his pride he spoken before his wisdom. Today his silence shows that something has changed inside him. He had seen Orhan save him when he could. He left him to die. Some such movements do not leave a man easily. A sword can cut flesh, but mercury can courage deeper. Orhan did not speak to him from too long time. He let the road do its work. Sometime when learned more from silence than the audience. After some distance, Sevak's way moved his horse closer and sighed. Maybe I spoke hard word in the councils. Orhan looked ahead as answered. Hard words are not always wrong, but words spoken from pride can wound the horses they come to protect sways. They lowered his eyes. I thought speed was courage, he said. Orhan replied, speech can be courage when the road is open, when the road is full of pits. Speed becomes blindness. The words were calm, but they carried weight. Sivax's way needed at the first time. He does not try to defeat himself. They wandered toward a group of small villages that stood near roads between Bursa and Iznik. These villagers were poor in gold but rich in information. Merchants passed there. Perhaps was held. Children noticed stranger better than soldiers did because children looked without understanding politicals. Old women sitting near one news which families has hidden about new animals, which men were missing and which strangers slept is born. Orhan knows that a state will not build only vast castle and enemy. It was built with knowledge. A ruler who ignored the small people will always be blind before the big enemy. The first village seemed peaceful from away, but as the same came closer, Orhan's sign of fear doors was closed through the day. He began smoke from the road, only of houses, the walls wall empty, and the children was not playing in the dust. A village without the second of children was not a peaceful village. It was a village holding its breath. Orhan raised his hand, but his rider slows. He does not want to enter like a storm. He wanted two people to see him that the come ask not to crush. And old man stopped out from behind a wooden gate. His back was bent, but his eyes were sharp. He looked at the riders. Then an Orhan banners, and then an Orhan himself. You can after the smoke. And then says Orhan got down from his horse. What what smoke? He asked. The old man paused toward unstirred field 2 nights ago. Then came without banners. They do not stay long. The ask about the road to Iznik. When our hemmed aside the knows nothing, the burned him strong house. They look his son with him. Orhan faced to change, but the man nears the felt the and becomes older, scolders and other taken son and other family uses as a rope. Too full as giving into betrayal. Where their Byzantine soldiers civic bay advice asked. The old man shook his head. Some spoke Greek, some spoke Turkish. One of them had the ascent of the mountain. They were not as simple They were broad people. The answers matter. Orhan looked toward the field. Though people were harder, the fight can open enemies. They had no longer to defend, to no clear flag, and no shame before innocent blood. They were like walk turns up difficult master. Nilufar words returned to Orhan mind. If hunger and fear that was ignored, enemies would buy them. The serve his proof the enemy was not only attacking with soldiers. He says enemy was not. He was using broken men, desperate men who had lost family, men who loved gold more than honor, and men who feared pain more than Allah. This was not a normal war, it was a war from the inside of society. Orhan ordered his men to bring food from their packs and shared it will be villagers. Some Arabs were surprised because they are little food from themselves. But Orhan said a hunger had little from themselves. But Orhan said a hunger village becomes as open gate from the enemy. Feed the gate because it opened the walls. Were simple, but the meaning was deep. A few women carries out slowly. A child started Orhan sharp. Another child held two pieces of bread. It will my despair if he blank. Orhan watched them and felt again the weight of rule. The he could not cities, but it children stayed hungry under their banner. What kind of victory would that be? The old man took Orhan to be burnt storage house. The smell of smoke still sat in the wood. Near the ashes and Arabs found in piece of black thread tied to broken arrow. It was not a normal sign. Orhan had seen the mark had secret symbols before, but this one was different from one found near the camp. The meat, one of two things either the enemy network had different groups working together or someone was trying to making it look that way. Both possibilities were dangerous. A confused enemy could be weak, but a hidden enemy who creates confusion is strong. Orhan placed the black thread in his palm and said nothing. Savsi Bey watches him. What do you think may be? He asked. Orhan answered, I think the enemy wants us to chase shadows. If we run every mark, we will lose the road. He then asked the old man about the captured headman's son. The old man says the boy brave and knew the forest path. This made Orhan's eyes narrow. They did not take him only to punish the village, he said. They took him because he knows the road. That was the hidden door. The could not guide men through part that avoid main patrols. If the enemy wanted to prove secret forces between Bursa and Iznik, they needed guide. If guide refuses, the enemy was threatened. If they accept, villages become part of the enemy map. Orhan now become part of enemy map. Orhan understand this road was not only but messages. It was about moving soldiers, gold, weapons, This is route was not got about messages. It was about movement, soldiers, gold, weapons, and spices were passing through the veins of the land. To take Bursa there, the first had to clean these veins. He sent two apes back to come with messages from Mulhan, Hond, and Nilufar. The camp must be watched but not forgotten. Not prison should leave without begin scenes, not new servant should enter without begin knows the young servant was carried. Messages must be protected because the enemy might try to kill him before he revealed more. Orhan also asked Nilufar to speak with the women of the camp and learn if family and missing relatives near Bursa and Iznik. Fear often entered a camp through the herd before it reached the gate. Then Orhan chose only a small group of continue with them. A large force because would come far away. He wanted quiet eyes, not loud power. He took savvy Bey royal ups, a few trusted riders, and an old tracker named Ali. Davis Ali was not truly a dervish, but people called him because he spoke little and so much. His beard was white, his back is slightly bent, yet his eyes could read much better than many men read letters. He knew near the burnt storage house and touches to the soul. 16 horses, he said, maybe 17. Two heavy riders, one horse with a weak back leg. They want east first, the turn north near the stream. Service Bay looked surprised. You will Dervish Ali answers. Dirt does not lie. Men do the follow dragged the little into field. The land changed slowly. What we there to scrub and scrub much gave to low stress. The road became narrow. Birds flew from branches at the rider's passes. Orhan kept his hand near his sword, but not because he expected attack at every step, but because a leader must be ready without looking afraid. Behind them, the village faded from sight. Ahead, the forest opened like a mouth. As they wanted the trees, the wound of world becomes smaller. Hooves were softened on the ground. Light broke into pieces between leaves. Enemy shadow looked into the could move. Dervish Ali raised his hand, one and pointed to a low branch. A piece of cloth was caught there. It was from a boy tunic, small and round. Orhan took it and placed it carefully. It is bad. The handmaid son has either struggle as left as sign. If has been left as a sign, he was clever. It was torn during fear. It will spoke. Either way, he boy the past there. The road until the sun stood high. Then Service Ali stopped again. There the split, he said. Orhan got down. The tracks separate. Most horses continue north, but they turn toward a rocky path in the east. Servants Bay said we should follow the larger group. Crowley said, or the smaller group carries the boy. Orhan studied both paths. A larger group could be bait, a small group could be the road. Then they noticed something near the eastern stone, one faint print of small foot, not a horse's. The boy walked here. Orhan said he looked him from the horse. Why Darvish Ali looked at the rose? Because the path is the two-step for a tired child on horseback. They made him walk. Orhan chose the earth path. Service Bay looked easily but did not argue. This was another test for him. He was learning to trust on not only strength but sign. They left some men hidden near the split road and continued with even fewer riders. Soon the path became too narrow for horses. They tied the animals among trees and moved to on feet. The stone was sharp. The air smelled of moss and old rain. Somewhere far away water and fallen. After a long climb, the harder voices. Orhan raised his hand. Every stop they moved low between logs until they caused a small clearing below. Three men sat near a fire. A boy was tied to a tree, his face dirty but its eyes awake. One of the men wore a Byzantine belt, another wore the closest of a mountain fighter, and the third looked like a merchant. This mixture told Orhan everything. The network was built from different kinds of people: empire men, horsemen, and traders of secret. The boy was alive, that mattered, but Orhan did not move at once. There might be more men hidden nearby. He watched. The merchant looked. Man took a small trap from the coast and caused him to look at it. This road, the man said, pointing. Does it reach the old bridge? The dude said nothing. The mountain fighter slapped him. The boy's spell did not carry out. Orhan just tightening Savi's bay and moved to sword. But Orhan stopped him with a glance. Anger could save the boy or kill him. Timing was everything. The merchant speak again. You father has another son, does not a younger one? Maybe he will answer battle. The boy face changed. Fear entered his eyes, but the still tried to brave. That was enough from Orhan. Some moment to not allow for waiting. He gave a silent signal. Nors moved left, Sarvik moved right. Darvish Ali stayed back with a bow. Orhan stepped from the rock and said, ask me about the road. The three men jumped up. The mountain fighter drew his sword first. The Byzantine soldiers reached for a horn to call help, but Darvish Ali arose, struck the horn from his hand. Knorrs rushed forward and struck him down. Surveys bay through fought the mountain fighter, still running against steel. The merchant tried to run toward the boy with a dagger, perhaps to kill him before he could speak. Orhan reached him first. He caused the man beast and wasted under the dagger fell. The man gasped and tried to speak. That are lines. I am only a trader, he said. Orhan answered, then you trade his children. The fighter ending quickly. The mountain fighters was wounded, was captured. The Byzantine soldiers died on his attempt a strike. After surrendering, the merchant was tried with the owned belt. Orhan cut the boy free. The boy tried to stand strong, but fear into Orhan's arms. He was not weak, he was excused. Your father alive, Orhan said. Your village ways. The boy looked at him and whispered, they want the old bridge road, not for soldiers, only for wagons. This was important. Wagons meant supplies, maybe weapons, maybe gold. Orhan gave him water. The boy drank slowly. Then he said, there are more men near the broken mill. They wanted to knight them, said a woman still will bring. The second mark, the word struck one like a could mind a man. Second mark, the danger inside the camp and the danger on the road were connected. He looked at the merchant. The man smiled weakly, trying to hide fear. Children fear too much, he said. Orhan replied, and proud men speak too much. They searched the merchant and found a small wax seal. It shows not a cross, not a tribal mark, but a closed door with three lines above it. Orhan did not notice the symbol, but Darwez Ali did. The old trackers from the lakeside, he said. Men who move good between Iznik with Bursa before the was grew harder. Some becomes rich by serving whoever paid. Orhan turned the seals in the finger. So the hidden door is to one military, he said. It is trade. This discovery hidden the story world could be fought with sword, but cities alive throated if merchants secretly carried weapons later many and hostage. Then they could make a science last longer. They could feel enemies strive allies and move secret move markets. Orhan realized that before he could press Bursa, he had to control the road of beard, iron, salt, and horses. A city wall was strong, but a trade road would be stronger. Savik's Bey looked at the captured merchant with disgust. Let me hang him from the nearest tree, he said. Orhan shook his head. That man answered not questions. Savik's Bey was angry, but he held back this too growth. The old Saviks would have pushed. The new one was learned that justice needed patience. Orhan ordered the prisoners move quietly. He did not want the larger enemy group to know their men had been captured. The returns to the built road by a hidden path and found the men left behind waiting. No enemy has passed yet. Orhan sent the servants boy back to the village to guard and messages the village must prepare but not panic. But then they turned toward the north where the larger group he had gone. If weapons were moving by night, they needed to find the broken wheel before darkness. The road north was easier, but dangers grew with every step. The forest opened into a valley where a wood where stream once water has turned its wheels on. The wheels hung before from covered it wine. The palace looked empty for away, but Davis Ali Point it mocks was almost invisible against the rock. The smell of cooking at the he said single smoke. Orhan watched a thin lines rose the stop after some times after another lies horses from the opposite hill. The enemies will speak will smoke like sharper but still flock made of secret. Orhan did not attack at once. He spread his men in the hide half circle. At the move into position, they was vegan hidden behind the wheel. The weapon was covered, we'll say. At first, they looked like normal village guard, but one wheel mark was too deep. They did not weigh that much. Iron did Orhan understand. Those vegan might carry weapons to Bursa to Iznik, may be enough to strengthen the enemy before a coming attack. Just before sunset, a rider came from the west. He were the closest of a poor messengers. He approached the film, give a folders paper to a guard. The guard looked at around, then looked around him inside. Oran waited. Son and other figure appeared from the streets covered into a darker cloak. The persons who careful, not like a soldiers, but like someone used to passing without notice. But Orhan has been discovered, or someone has through urgent was Orhan was wait no longer. He gave the single arrow struck the guard near the wagons. The apes rushed from the trees, horses screamed, men shouted. The quickly valley turned into a storm. Savix Bay led the right side, fighting with fierce control, cornered up, and the hopes holding the wagons, horses, or the cart could not leave. Orhan entered. They will not will men behind him. Inside, dust filled the air. Light came through broken wooden wall in the lines. Men were grabbing papers from our table and trying to burn them. Orhan crossed the room fast and struck one man down before the fire could take everything. The clock figure tried to escape, brought a back door. Orhan floored. The persons ran into the dry, screamed, slipped at one stone, and fell. The hood came loose. If the woman from Nilufar's suspicions, her name was Kalen, a servant who had worked near the healing tent. He was not old, not young, with a face that was always seems tried to harmless, not the ears were the full of fear and anger. Or her look at the with disappointment, not from surprise. Why he asking? He laughed bitterly. Why do leader always ask? They have already judged. Orhan answers because sometimes the reason shows the size of wound. Sultan spat near his felt. My wound has no size, it has no end. He said the husband he has died in a raid years ago, and no bay had cared. Her father has been taken by Byzantine men, then returned broken, then died from fever. She had served in camps, hearing great men speak of justice, while poor women's bird family with no fame on the grave. The traders came. The offer called him first. She refused. Then they offered the name of man who has betrayed her brother. She listened. After that, step by step, she became their messengers. Orhan listened, but his face remained firm. Pain explained her road, but it did not clean the blood from it. You help men burn villages and steal children, he said. Scalen's eyes shook, but she lifted her chin. And what did your her do? Did the return homes to Cervix Bay, who had followers, become angry enough? He roared. He said he speak likes poisons. Enough, he said. Orhan raised his hand. Let's poison speak. Then we knows what it's made it. These scenes mattered because the story needed to show that betrayal was not always born from simple greed. Sometimes it grieves the places where justice arrived too late. Orhan did not accept Scallon actions, but understood the warning hidden inside them. If he stayed for God, the wounded enemies would remember them. If leaders ignore proof grief spices would pay it. This was not softness, it was state wisdom. Orhan ordered Scallons tied and taken alive. She tried to provoke him, saying he was afraid to punish a man. Orhan answered, I do not fear punishment, I fear punishing. Before trust is complete, then he returned inside. He milled. The battle outside was ending. Some enemies had fallen, some were captured, and a few had escaped into the hill. The wagons were open. Under the lay iron arrowed short swords. dyed mint coins and seals. Later, one letter carried the symbol of the closed door, and other carried a seal from a known Byzantine commander near Bursa. At third was written in Turkish and named two villages where guide could be forced by hostage taking. This was a serious victory, not like taking a castle, but perhaps more important. Orhan had uncovered a road system that fit enemy power, but he also knows the escape man who ordered the hidden doors would start choosing right if he do not move quickly. He network would disappear road system that feed enemy power, but he also knows the escape man would man. Others he hidden store would start closing now if he would not moving quickly. That network could disappear and return later is another shape. He gave orders with calm. The weapons would be taken, the coins would be coined and used later to reply harmed villagers. If his rightful owners was found, the letter would go to the councils, the prisons. Letters will go to the council, the prisons would be spread. Two cells could not build one it together. The weapon would not be burned. Instead, Orhan would use them. He told him them covered the weapon signs and again prepare one begins. If he had escaped this surprise, everyone may be. Connor said, "You want to?" said, "Everyone may be." Connor said, "You want to send it forward?" Orhan needed not forward deeper. The explain the plan. They would let one wagon seems to flee toward the next contact point, but hidden when would follow it. The captured driver promised from judgment if he helped would carry a false story. The will had been taken by bandits, not be Orhan man and one vegan has survived. If the enemy believed this, the vegan would lead them the another door in the network. It would dangerous, but the chance was not important. Orhan was not simply cutting branches, he wanted the road. Civics were listening with new respect. "You fight like a man who builds trap under trap," he said. Orhan answered. The enemy entered one camp with hidden hand. He will enter his road with hidden eyes. Davis Ali smiled slightly from him. This was good hunting. At nightfall, the false wagon moved. The two enemy prisoners sat in front, but one was secretly guarded from inside. He had covered by an arms with a dagger, ready for behind. Orhan was selected rider forward without torches. The man was thin. The land looks silver and black. The wagon wheels created like old bones. Every sound felt too loud. The road turns toward the lake country where a stone made natural hidden places. If the network had a hearth, it must best somewhere there. During this last night movement, Orhan had time to think. Scallan's war stayed with him. He lied not let them weaken him, but he did not let teach him. A ruler must be strong enough to hear ugly hurt without falling into anger. Someone's people pain and excuses for evil. Orhan carried real bounds from litter with heels uses feels both things proved to be true. Orhan knew that the future state could not reward varied and it had to remember windows or harps, traders, farmer, sharper, craftmaster, and servant. If justice arrived only at council speeches, it would be in a village dust. Near midnight, the wagon reached a stone bridge across a narrow stream. The bridge was old, with broken sides and weed between. Stone Ireland appeared on the far side. A voice called Y1. Only call the driver. Answer will the false story. The lantern moved closer. Three men come out, then five more. They check the wagon. One of them they shook the wagon. One of the climbed into the hard, nearly stepped. One hidden up the up stayed still at once. That man punished they had with a beard did not go deep enough. Then he jumped down and said, "Move the lake house waits." The lake house that was the next door. Orhan heard the sword of the hiding places and singles him meant to stay back. The wagon crossed the bridge and continued. The enemy guard followed beside it. Orhan waited until they were far enough, then moved after them like a shadow. The lake houses stood in an openly place where reeders grew thick and frogs sang in the darker. If the one belongs to rich traders, but wars had empty enemies. Now this had light inside, not now much light, but enough to show that man moved. The door both was tried the house. This made Orhan understand another part of the network. They were not only using road, they were using water, boats, clouds carry messages and good quality where horses could not go. The wagons stopped where the houses. A tall man came out. He roused a dark ghost with white buttons to find out from a common smuggler. He brave was short, his eyes careful. He did not look like a soldier. Yet every man around him listens. They walk likely one of organizers. He looked at the driver and asked, "Where is Callens?" The driver's Valence, "I do not know. Their mill burn will escape." The tall man watched him from a long moment. Then he smiled, but the smile was empty. "No, you lie badly," he said. Everything happened at once. He drew a knife and reached from the driver. The hidden arms burst from the way, knocked him back. Orhan gave the signal. The arms rushed from the reeds. Arrows flew both sided. The lake's houses guards were surprised, not weak. They fought hard because men who run secret road knows capture means death or rose. The fight spread around the house. Some enemies tried to push the boat into the water nose up, and two riders stopped them. Cervix Bay charged and told him, but the man moved with a kill of someone trained in more than trade. Oran entered the fight near the doorway. Inside the house, the saw map on the wall, not inside. The house was map on the wall, not rough. Map, "Be careful," once wrote. Villagers' water path, supplies point, and secret market were all. So this was more than a smuggler's shelter. It was a commander's center for hidden movement. A fire burned into the corner, and one man tried to throw the man into it. Orhan struck him the flat of his sword and pulled set the map down before the flame. could reach them outside Savex's Bay fought the fall man near the reeds. The man cut service wounded shoulders. The Swags nearly fell. Orhan came out and joined the duel. The tells Mon stopped back, breathing hard, and looked at Orhan with clear recognition. So the son of Osman come to trader's house like a thief, he said. Orhan answers when thieves builders rot under me. People feel I follow them. Love your people, these road belonging the other before your banners came. Orhan replied, road belongs to those who keep them safe, the innocent. The tall man's name was Leon Markin, the traitor by face and a spy by blood. He had served Byzantine commanders, but she also served his own wealth. He believed state were temporary and gold was eternal. Men like him were dangerous because they had no real royalty. They would seal a city in the morning, was by prayers in the evening. Leon fought with the blade, quiet and clever. He did not fight like a battlefield varied. He varied from various styles and weak point. Orhan had to stay careful. One wrong move could not everything in a dirty yard beside dark water. During the duel, Leon spoke to the disturb him. He said, Bursa wrong never fall because every hungry man near it could be bought, every rock could be turned, every tribe could be divided. He said, woman, Osman's dream was romantic but fragile. Orhan answered later. He let the spoke speak, but inside he was listening because enemy often revealed their rules plan while posting. Leon said, you took the walls, but it on stored. The statement confirmed everything. The network was called the Doors, and Leon was one of the keepers. Finally, Orhan forces Leon back against the broken post. Leon tried to pull a small knife from his sleeves, but Orhan saw the movement and struck his wrist. The knife fell into reeds. Servax Bey stepped forward to like him. Orhan stabbed him alive, he said. Leon smiled even with blood on his mouth. Alive man escaped, he said. Orhan answered, not where their draws closed. The lake house was secured before town. Where the maps were served, the capture was were tied. The boat was searched and found full of sealed jar. Instead, the jar were not only grease and oil, but small metal tube holding messages. Some messages were written in code. If orders carried name, Orhan did not know every name, but the news enough to understand the size of the danger. The secret road system touched Bursa, Iznik, nearby villages, and even some marks were Turkish traders. Some good. This network could carry war without banners. Orhan stood inside the map road at the first light entered through the broken shutters. He studied the walls carefully. There was from the safe horses, hidden wells, bring boat and storage ponds. Some marked had been crossed out, perhaps because they were no longer safe. Others were carried. One circle was around a place called then stone in crevasse rope between roads, and other circle was around a hill path leading toward Bursa. A third mark was Lair Iznik. Orhan placed his fingers on this mark. This is only about Bursa, he said. They were preparing for something larger. Darwish Ali looked at the map and noted, if these road step opens, any signs will play from behind. Orhan agreed, as science will not judge men standing. Orhan was if stood for patience, supplies, and information. If the enemies could freely beside hidden door, Orhan army would suffer cities while survive if the Orhan closed the doors before the switch puts the fool feel alone. That was the real value of this night. The scene fast rider to the camp, the loyal village, and two trusted watchers near trade roads. The orders was clear: do not attack. Every merchant was watched. Every road let honors trade continue because a ruler was stopped. And traders hurt his own people, but search stations, wagons, protect guides. Count stranger ask why good move at night at any threatens by hostage takers must stand secret words. Orhan was beginning to turn scatters like into organized power. This was how a panic grew into a state, or not only through conquest through system. Meanwhile, Scales was thrown to the lake house under guard. She was the law people captured. Her face changed. Orhan noticed it. It was only loyalty. It was fair line. Looked at the hair and laughed softly. You will always the weaker door, he said. Scalen's shape turned into danger. You promise at the name. She said, learned hearts. One promise, many people, many things. In that moment, Scalen understood fully that the had not used the network. The network has used her. Her grief and has been a key and line and turned it. Orhan left her enough that he asked her, do you think they seem scared for your wounds? Callan did not answer. Her answer, he eyes face, but she held the tears back with the head. Orhan said, your pain was real, your betrayal was real too. Now chooses. Wiltrons will stand last. She looked at Leon's. Then the man slowly, she said, she knows the persons who carries messages from the camp. Before her, she has seen his face is clearly, but she knows had a ring was a green stone and a scare near the thumb. These details matter. It must point to someone who still remained close to Orhan. People service Bay was angry again. Why did not say thing before? Scallan answers, because I wanted all of you, but his answer broke on the last word. Orhan said, and now she looked away. Now I want him to burn. Orhan said, then you are you serving justice? You are changing the target of your hatred. This line silenced everyone. It was true. Revenge could help for a moment, but it could build a state. Orhan needed trust, not another fire. He ordered Scallons kept alive a watch. She would answer from what she will return. The information will be used. Leon was also kept under heavy guard. The map coded messages are packed from return journey. Before leaving, Orhan stood outside the lake houses and looked across the water. The surface was calm, hiding depth beneath it. This land was dead. On the surface, villages, road, market, and drivers looked normal. Underneath, danger moved quite quickly. Then the return, the camp, the people had already heard pieces of news. Rumors are wares alive. Before riders, some said Orhan has found our two tires. Some she has captured a Byzantine prince. Some said traitors were everywhere. Rumors it was a built house. It is not control. It can break the camp. Orhan did not hide it tent. He called the council and the people together. He shows them the capture weapon and map, but he did not reveal every man, every name. He explained through the create antlers, not panic. He captured them. The enemy has learned that walls alone cannot stop us. So he uses road, hunger, fear, and all wounds. From today, he will answers will order villagers under our protection will not stand alone. Traders who honest will be safe. Traders who carry prisons who will both good and freedom. Any woman who thread a family to force betrayal will be haunted. Any person in this camp who carries grief must bring it justice, not to be enemy. We are only not preparing to take our city, we were preparing to deserve it. These words spread through the camp, some thread strength, some heart wearing, some heard hope. Mulhan Hunt listening from the side, and her eyes shadow pride. She has seen many speak loudly of conquest, but Orhan was speaking of deserving conquest that was difficult. Different Nilufar stood beside her, thinking of scalons, of her servant, of the woman who carried silent wounds. She knew Orhan under would not heal everything in one day, but it opened a door toward a better kind of rule. After the speech, Nilufar asked Orhan to allow a gathering of the camp, women, widows, servants, and families of missing men. She said if the enemy busy pain, he must know where pain lies. Orhan and agreed at once. Was not a small matter, it was a new form of defense. The woman gathered became one of the strongest quiet scene of this section. Nilufar did not above them like a queen speaking to servants. She said, among them, she said, ask missing family who had threatening, who has received strange gift, who has been unknown traitors, who feared speaking because a powerful person might punish them at once. No one spoke, fear had roared. Then an old widow lifted her hand. She said, a man who offered to pay from her reported one curtain arms left camp. And other woman said her coins in a nearby village by had been told to her would be taken if he sold grain to her man. A young servant cried and admitted she had once carried skills, not without knowing what it was. Nilufar listening without shouting. Fatma wrote down name and places. This scene shouted that the enemy network her torches more lives anyone's news. If also shows that justice begin. Why people believe they can speak without being crushed. When the information reached Orhan, the camp grew clear. The network was not one right road, it was many fears connected together. A window here, a merchant there, a threatened guide, a captured brother, a bitter servant, a greedy traders, a proud babe, a hungry village. The enemy had not created all these wounds. Some wounds came from was itself, but the enemy had unused them. Orhan answered, had to larger than arrested. It was the protection law as trust. He ordered a new record to the made. Families of fallen would be listened. Missing men would be searched from possible villagers that gave food would receive payment, no protections, no commanders could take supplies without writing it down. Any complaint again at ups would be heard by a trusted judge. Some Varys did not think like that. The want rules laws dead, but Orhan said the sallows without laws wins. Today all loses tomorrow. The sentence mocked the grew of a state. The night Orhan sat with Osman, the older man listened, and Orhan described the same hidden road, the lake houses, Leon's Callans, the map, and the Women gathering. Osman faces was thoughtful. He was point his life fighting invisibles. Facing you are learning, Osman said. Orhan answered, I am here learning that conquest begin before the battle. Osman nodded, and sometimes it continue lost long after the victory falls. Orhan asked, did you ever fear that dream would become too heavy? Osman looked at him from a long time every day. He said, a man who did not feel the weight of the trust should not should never carry it. Orhan learned his head. Osman, continue, but do not let weight bend your back. Let it threatens your leg. You will walk road I could not walk. This is not betrayal. This is the meaning of a son. This world gave Orhan peace. Many sons fear stepping beyond their father because they think it means leaving the enemy. Osman was telling him to opposite, to go future who was the honor and the beginning outside the camp. The brand the inside father and son spoke, not as legend as here, but as two men standing on different sides of time. Osman told him that enemies like Leon were more dangerous than merry commanders because they turned human weakened him to road he wanted. Orhan want to become only a hunter of our traitors. If you want only hurt betrayal, you will see betrayal everywhere. Osman said, build a loyalty stronger than betrayal, that is better. Orhan carried this advice into his heart. The next morning brought new danger. One of the coded messages from the lake houses was broken by a learned man. In the map, it said when the moon in half, if stones, the open the green rings confirm passages. Bursa wait from the quiet fire. The green ring was Sklelen's clue. The stone in was now the next point. The moon would be half in 2 nights. Quiet fire could mean a hidden attack, a burning inside the camp, or a signal for surprising. Orhan could not ignore it. He called a smaller councils this time. Savik Bey did not speak first. He waited. That alone should change. Orhan placed the map in the center, the stone inner into a castle. He said it more dangerous. Castle shows their wall inner opens their doors to everyone's merchant travels. Spices, soldiers, and messengers could are paused there. If the green ring men appeared, they might find the next master from the network. Orhan decided to go discuss. Abe should not risk himself in an inn full of knaves. Orhan answers that some trust run away when banners arrive. Niloufar did not like the risk but understood if before the left he gave him a plain cloak. Abe he hid the cloth, he said, but not always. His eyes lowers your gaze when men boast. Orhan smiled slightly. You teach me spying. Now she answered, I teach you surviving. Men who tell you much. The moment was light, but beneath light fear. Niloufar made the discuss road were dangerous because help carried. She also knew Orhan could not spend another man into risk, was unwilling to take himself. Orhan left with honors of Dervish Ali and Wilton's servants wanted to come, but Orhan told the remain and guards the camp road. Service was disappointment, but Orhan said a man proves that not only for following me but by holding what I leave behind. These cave civics are different kind of honor accepted. The stone in stood where three roads met. It was built of rough stone with a wide yard of animals and a low stable wall. Smoke rose from it. Chimney travels make him an event. Some were real merchants, some were clean from road, some drank loudly of her fear. Others sat alone and listening. Orhan entered a trade guard wearing simple cloth and keeping this sword covered knots played the role of tried horse. B.S. Davers Ali looked natural anywhere because old men are often ignored and ignore men near the most. Inside the in the air smelled of mint, sweet smoke, and wet wool. Men spoke in different tough. A singer is the corner sang an old song, but no one listened closely. Orhan stayed with his back near a wall. That was habit. A leader, a warrior, or a hunted man never give his back to us open room. He watched hand more than faces. A lying mouth can smile, but hand often tells the truth. Nervous figure, hidden rings, its ink stain, swords, casuals, not marks, all of them smoke. Horse passed, nothing happened. This was the hard part of the hidden work in battle. Danger run toward you in spying. Danger sit and drinks slowly, nor complained. Under the bridge at the preferred open field, Dervish Ali whispers open field. Loud man in like impatient ones. Orhan almost smiled. Near evening, a man entered wearing a brown travelling coat. He looked ordinary, expected his right hand on one finger was a green stone ring. Near the thumb was a scare. Orhan felt the air change. This was the man Scallon has described. He could not look around too much. This meant the wares was trainer. He walked to the innkeepers and asked from waters, not wine, not food. The innkeepers wouldn't too quickly. A sign had passed between them. The green rice must never. The back door soon and other travellers joined him. They spoke little of loud them. Cloth moved from our sleeves from another. Orhan saw honors at the stand shifted, but Orhan gave a small warning with his eye. Not yet. They needed to know where the messages went. Then the signers changed sun. The new strong mansions, a half moon, and a bring field. Most people heard only music. Orhan heard a signal. The quiet fire. The messages was not only written, it was sung. It the means network used more than letter. It used memory, song, traders, words, marks, and object. This made its stakes bears. Written messages could be captured. A song could pass through 100 years and leave no paper behind. The green ringman stood and went toward the stable. Orhan followed after waiting a short moment. Outside, the sky dry, dark blue. The yard was muddy. Horses moved into their stalls. The man entered the stable and Orhan heard low voices. They moved closer and saw through a gap in the wood. The green ring was speaking into the inner keeper and another person hidden in his shadow. The hidden person said the camp must burn from the healing tent smoke first, then panic while the turn to serve the wounded. The Bursa riders strike the turnstones. Orhan stood turns called. The quiet fire was an attack on the wounded and the food supplies Cruel and clever, the green ring man asked about Scallon. The hidden person said if she taken, she hides, if Leon is taken, he lies. The door remains. Orhan learned closer to see the hidden face as that moment that horse kicked the wall behind him. The sound made the man inside turn. Orhan stepped back, but a stable born boy at the store shouted. The yard exploded into a movement. The green ring man ran. Norris blocked the gate and fought. Two men at once. Devil Ali threw a knife that cut the rope of hanging learned. Dropping darkens over half the stable. Orhan chasing the green rising ring was through the mud. The man was faster entering the place. The jump over a low wall and run toward the road. Orhan followed the man. Threat was spike behind the one cut of Orhan book, but the kept moving. Finally, near a city, dry ditch. Orhan caught him. They fought him close spaces, not with a grand sword move, but with elbows, knees, dangers, and raw strength. The man tried to twist away, but Orhan slammed him against the ditch wall and took his knife. Who sent you? Orhan demanded. The man smiled through blood. You still think there is one Sanders? He tried to bite something hidden in his cooler, but Orhan caught the jaw and stabbed him poison again. Then we were trapped to die. Before speaking, Orhan tried his hand and searched him. Inside the cooler was a small wax bead filled with poisons. In this boat was tiny paper, was three swords, guillotines, heels, or the name brought a new shadow. Weathers drew a planted its struggle. The Mongol linked a power of fear of Mongol power was being used in the game. Orhan did not accept it blindly. Enemies often places false names from direct anger, but the could not ignore it. Others, the struggle might involve not only Bursa and Iznik but wider forces watching the rise of Osman House. A growing Turkish state would disturb many people's power. Back at the inner Noor and Davis all the captured the inner keeper, but the hidden person has captured through a collar's tunnel. The tunnel and outside to a theme path. Devils Ali explained it is same. The escape had been prepared long ago. The stone in the not just a meeting place in the built as a door. Orhan ordered the inner seals. The honest travels who questions and reveals suspected men were held. The inner was missing. That meant the strong messengers the escape too. Orhan had no long to rest. The planned attack on the healing tent and food straws could happen. Stone the he sent the fastest rider to warm Savik Bay and Nilufar. Then he rode back through the mud with the prisoners. The road seems long because now every moment mattered. If the warning arrived late, the camp would turn back. At the camp, Nilufar has already seen danger before the messages came. One of the women who from her gathering has reported a stronger small near the oil jars used the camp in the healing area. Fatma checked and found that some jars has been mixed with a faster burning liquid. The quiet fire has already entered the camp when Civic Spare received Orhan warning. He did not panic. This was his test. He moved the wounded quietly, replaces the jar. He set hidden guard near the Eastern store. He also ordered false beacons to be sure, making it look like the camp was still unaware. When the enemy agent came before down to light the fire, the wound, the tent quiet, the slipped inside the Turkish flame. The prepared jar, but the jar has been replaced. The water and rushed. It once hidden. Guards seized him at the same time. Bursa risers attacked the eastern store, accepting the panic instead. Civic Bay and Ops were waiting. The raiders rode into a wall of the arrows and spears. The walk failed before it truly began. Orhan returned as the fight ended. He saw Sarvik Bey standing near the captured raiders, wounded again. The steady, not pride, Philly, the face only duty. Orhan understood that the man has passed his test. You held the camp, Orhan said. Savik answered, you left the trust. I only get guarded it. Their relationship has changed. A divided council was becoming a stronger circle. Nilufar came from the healing tent. Try but save Orhan looked at the tent, at the show. What would have happened? Woodmen burning, women screaming, war stones. Lost, panic spread. Bursa riders striking in choice. The enemy had named Nat a soldier first, but the trust if the healing but turns everywhere would feel that no place was safe. But the plan had failed because Orhan listened to small clue, because Nilufar gathers hidden pain, because Fatma noticed detail, because Savik learned patience, and because the state was beginning to act like one body. At sunrise, the prisoners were brought together. The green ring man still refuses to speak, but the inner keeper broken. He was not brave enough for silence. He reveals that the escape hidden person was called Kira Vassils, a man of mixed blood, many names. Somewhere she served Bursa, some thought the serve is Nick. Some said he had Mongol contact. Larger, he was the keeper of several doors, but not the highest master. About he was someone knows at the adjutant. This name spread chills through the councils. The enemy was not just reacting, someone was designing this trap with pressure. Patient Orhan did not show fear. The looked at the map from the lake house. Then the new information. The epices were joined. The archers used traders, hostage, bigger servant, coded song, hidden roads, water, planted path, false symbols, and planned fire. This enemy did not only to stop, only attack. He attacked to mock Orhan. People counted future before Bursa was even reached. This means the coming wars would be deeper than expected. The sections moved toward in final emotional turn. Was Callan asked to speak the Nilufar at once. The guard refuses. The Nilufar agree with Fatma presence. Scallons look smaller now, not innocent, not clean, not broken in a different ways. She says, when I carried the first message, I told someone myself it was only paper, but when the villagers burned, I would myself it would be light in the fire. When the boy was taken, I told myself I did not tie his hand. Lies are easily when they come off at him. Nilufar listened quietly. Scalan asked if Allah can forgive someone when open door to evil. Nilufar answers forgiveness belongs to Allah, but represent begins when you stop lying to yourself. Scalanda gives one final piece of trust. She remembered hearing learned speak of her next move. She said, Bursa is not first prize. She whispers, he said, Orhan head must be taken before Bursa was. Nilufar asked what that means. Callan, she says, do not know, but she heard one name, Holofira. This name's hits Nilufar like a hidden narrow because it touched her fast past, her identity, and the bridge between two worlds where the enemy plans to use the history, her family connection, or older places. Whispers the messages is clear. The next attack may not target road or supplies, it may target Nilufar herself and throw her or harm her. Nilufar does not break in front of Scallan. She stands, thanks from the trust, and leave from outside the tent. Fatma sees the hand shaking. This is important. Strong character do not need be unshaken at the real time. Real strength is falling dead, shaken and still walking. Nilufar goes to Orhan and still the everything has up for a moment. Orhan come from change. The enemy has touched many things already, but now the threat has become personal. He can force sword and set his chest, but as a sword aimed Nilufar at his family, at his emotional center, is another kind of war. Orhan want to increase her guard, and once Nilufar agreed to protection but harms him not to let fear control him. If he serves you hurt, pull your mind away from the state, they will use men and again. She says, Orhan answers, you will separate from the state, you are part of that trust. I carry. Nilufar replies, Dad carry that trust with wisdom, not panic. This scene should their bond and their strength. She is not asking to left unprotected. She is asking him to remain the leader she believed in. The final council of sections together under a stance sky. The maps are laid out. The captured hills black thread green ring coded song and stone in information all places before the bay. Orhan speak clearly. We have found the doors, he says. Now we'll close one by one. But remember this, the enemy want to angry, divided, and blind when their answers with orders. Every road will his eyes, every villager will his voice, every trader will his oath. Honest traders is safe and secret poisons is tight. Every wound among our people will be heard, become the enemy, turn it into knife. The Bay listened differently now. In section 1, some questions whether Orhan was already in section 2. They began to see that redness is not loud, it is not only charging first, it is seeing the wool board where when the only spices. Orhan has not conquered Bursa yet, but he has started conquering the invisible land around it. Roads, trust, information, supply, fear, grief. These are the land beneath the land. As the consuls and messengers arrive from the west, he is covered in dust and nearly from his horses. His spring knew that servants bring his gift. Arrive at the borders and then ask permissions to ask Orhan land. The servants come in peace from a noble house connected to Bursa. It carries clauses and letters scaled. With respect, some base sees opportunity, see danger. Orhan looked at the seals and the Nilufar. The timing is too perfect. After raw spices, inner and spices. Orhan opens the letter. If it does not threat. It prays the wisdom. It opens talk. It says blood has latest too long at that Bursa people decide safely in invites Orhan to spend trusted offer to discuss term at the natural garden near the old Roman road. On the surface, it is spacious. Underneath, it smells like another door. Cervix base says, let me take me and sizes. The servant no says pieces letter and can carry poisons. Nilufar can the roads again and says,